Alrighty, I want to start off by saying I am not a Wyze affiliate or reseller of any kind. This is just a testimonial to Wyze Cameras and how they saved my house from burning down. Last Monday, I had left for work about 6:30 in the morning. The night before, I had cooked some chicken in a crock pot here, and Monday morning when I went to make my lunch, I had set the crock pot over here on the stove. What I didn't know is that when I moved that crock pot over, I hit this knob on my stove, accidentally turned it on, have no recollection of that whatsoever. Had no idea. Finished putting my lunch together, head to work. I should say on the stove, or on the glass top stove, I did have a silicone mat and a plastic utensil holder, something you can put your spoons in or whatever. I'll post pictures of these at the end. Anyway, I head to work, get settled in almost an hour later. By the time I'm sitting down and looking at my phone, I see all these alerts on my phone. Smoke alarm, smoke alarm, smoke alarm coming from my Wyze Cameras. Started to panic, freak out a little bit. So the first thing I do is I pull up one of the cameras. I'm looking at in my house, the camera that's probably in the living room that's pointing towards this way. And I don't see any fire. It looks kind of hazy. Sometimes, when the sun shines in your house, it looks hazy. That's what I thought it was. Well, as soon as I hit the speaker, I hear the smoke alarm going off. So the Wyze Cameras picked up the smoke alarm and set the alert. I'm going to be honest, didn't even know that was a feature. Thank God it is. So I'm about 25 minutes away from home. There's no way I can get home in time. I didn't want to dial 911 because I didn't know how that worked, where I was and where the actual issue was. So I called my local police department, and when you dial in, the first option is if this is a fire or police emergency, press 1. I press 1. Dispatcher Thomas, I think her name was, gets on the phone, tell her what's going on. She goes, "What's the address? Can they get in the house?" I said, "Yeah, I can open the garage remotely." I guess I could have given the code too, but I opened the garage remotely. They're probably at my house in 5 minutes. Sure enough, house was filled with smoke. The smoke, the heat had burned through the silicone mat, which is supposed to be heat resistant. And I'm not really blaming that, but the utensil thing was plastic. And I think that was really the culprit of what caused everything. And you'll see pictures at the end. But there was definitely a hole in the silicone mat, and about 90% of the utensil holder was destroyed. And then there was a big mess again, you'll see at the end. So by this time I was on my way in, and I was talking to the dispatcher. Oh, they got in the house, everything's okay. There's no fire, just smoke. They turned off the stove, opened up the windows and doors, blew out all the smoke. And I actually talked to the firemen that were when they were in the garage through my Wyze camera in the garage. They said, "Yep, everything's good." I turned around and went back to work. I did not even have to come in. I get home about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Couldn't even tell, other than the mess. There was no smell whatsoever from the smoke. So this is really just a big shout out to Wyze Cameras to thank you for saving my house from burning down. Like I said, I didn't even know that was a feature, and had I not had those, I'm a bit of a geek, so I got lots of electronics and Wi-Fi and all sorts of fun toys. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys saved my house from burning down, plain and simple. Stick around and I'll show you the pictures at the end. But big thank you to Wyze. Thank you so much. And also to MyQ for letting me open up my garage remotely. So, all right. Thanks everybody. Thanks for listening.